So starting from the top, what does this mean? Number one is you having confidence in you and what you do. That's first and foremost when it comes to government contracting. The other thing that's really important, your ability to deliver. People think, oh, I'm just gonna, because this is what some put out there, like, oh, I'm just gonna find somebody to do the thing because the Army needs the thing. I'm gonna find them, I'm gonna mix them, I'm gonna put it over there. It doesn't work like that. You have to be involved and make sure they deliver. So if you get a contract where you're providing fencing parts, guess what? You got to make sure those fencing parts are delivered. Whatever the contract is that you win. For example, someone had reached out to me once. They stated that they won this contract for laundry services. The subcontractor that they located said, no, we don't want to have anything to do with this. So then they were stuck. They didn't know what to do. So I provided some guidance and they were able to work it out, because sometimes that happens, but you have to be ready to deliver. The amount of information that I'm giving to you, you can easily, hands down, get $1 million in contract. You can, because most contracts out there are multiple years in duration, and there's so many things that the federal government's looking to purchase, especially now in the fourth quarter. This is when the government's spending. People often want to know why the government would buy from you. One of the reasons that the government wants to purchase from you is because legally they need to buy from vendors that fit within their legal regulations as far as what they can do to purchase, the federal acquisition regulations. So they can't just say, I'm gonna buy it on Amazon, or I'm just gonna go down the street to Walmart or Walgreens. They have to follow those rules. Plus 25% of federal government contracts are set aside for small businesses. So there's this huge encouragement to purchase from small businesses. So that's why they want to buy from you, because they just need the same. And when it's low risk, they want to buy from you, because it goes to our mindset. If you think like, nobody wants to buy from me, why do I want to sell? Well, I'm not going to be able to do it. Then guess what? You're going to get all those. No one's going to buy from you. You're not going to change your life. You're going to still work that 9 to 5 you hate. You're going to curse government contracting, and you're never going to win a contract. Instead, if you put out there, look, I'm going to learn everything I can, and I'm going to apply it. I'm going to learn everything I can and apply it. Learn and apply, learn and apply. Because I know I have something the government wants to buy. For me, it's this world of abundance. Money is created every day by who? The government. There's an abundance of money. Now, you may not currently have the money that you want, but that doesn't mean you won't. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. We live in an amazing country where that is possible, because there are places in the world where it's extremely difficult to change your financial environment. But by having this thing right here, we're able to really change our life. So I just want to address a couple things. I read something recently where somebody was like, oh, these people, they're putting out there that they've won like 40, 50, 60, 70, $80 million in government contracts, but yet they're on social media or they're selling something. I just want to address this because I don't know, maybe you wondered, maybe you didn't. I just think it's important. So here's the deal. There's this thing called you do more than one thing at once. I mean, okay, so let me break it down. You do more than one thing at once. Number two, there are tons of people who have ownership in a variety of businesses. Like, it was probably 2 years ago, I attended a Tony Robbins event. It was his first one after everything happened. There were 10,000 of us in person in like the West Palm Beach area. And during that, he said something like he was part owner in like 150 companies. Nobody questions that. Is it because it's Tony Robbins and he's been around for a gazillion years? I'm not putting myself on the same level as Tony Robbins, so please don't think that. It's about, that's possible. There are people in every single one of our communities who have ownership, whether it's 100%, partial ownership of several companies at the same time. So how is that possible? In my situation, I'm an executive team. I have processes and procedures. I worked really hard to take myself out so I could spend more time on other areas like social media and helping people, because we have contracts. And that's why another thing that's really important for those just starting now, because we're starting at the top, client relations. When you have strong client relations, the client doesn't want to lose you. They don't want to let you go. But when you have poor client relations and it's just like, I'm just going to hand it off, then they don't care who's doing the thing. Doesn't matter. What's important in this area, can't emphasize this enough. When it comes to federal government contracting, it's about you being able to take this big old ocean and really narrow it to like a little pond. That's what you're looking to do with the federal government. There's thousands upon thousands of agencies, but you want to just have that little bitty hole like ice fisher women. That's what you want. And that's the key, is to hone in who are the people buying what I want to sell. Where are they? How do I find them? Is it on Sam.gov? Is it dialing for dollars? Is it through teaming? The answer is yes to all of that, but it's key, because if not, you're going to be the person I know, I love how I do my fishing. It looks, you're going to be fishing all over the place, and maybe you catch something, maybe you don't. Want to go to a spot where people are overlooking, because the more competition, usually that's going to lower the rates. Well, how do I get paid? How do I invoice? So when I first started out, it was a mess. So we use like a Word document. I highly suggest you get like a QuickBooks or whatever is out there that works within your budget, and then you can invoice through that, because then it's going to be cleaner, it's connected to your books, it's just more sophisticated. So you'll fill out an invoice in your bookkeeping, and then you follow the instruction in your actual contract. So some agencies use IPP, some use wide area workflow, some you may have to email, some may have a different portal. Every single opportunity, they will outline it. And it's the number one question and bullet item to go over during your kickoff with that agency. Because if it's a smaller dollar amount, meaning under $30,000, you can ask them, is it possible that perhaps you can pay with a government purchase card? So if you put that out there as an option, make sure you have a merchant account. You're not gonna be able to use Cash App and Venmo and all that kind of stuff. But the benefits of it is you get the cash quicker. Now, there's fees associated when you use a merchant account, so just be aware. How do you know how much to bid jobs for? There are several approaches to take. I'm just going to make it simple for everyone. Number one, you have to look at what are the evaluation criteria. If they say to you, lowest cost, technically acceptable, lowest rate, lowest price, your price has to be low. Knowing that, what are your expenses? So understand what your expenses are and know what the evaluation criteria is. So case in point, if you're looking to work on vent cleaning and you get a bid and someone says, I estimate it's going to be $10,000 to clean these vents. So you're like, I'm going to put 20, 50% onto this price, but the evaluation criteria is lowest cost. There's no way the government's going to pay you upwards toward $20,000 for some vent clean. You're not going to win. So you still want to make a profit, but you have to take in consideration your expenses. So one way to get around that is when you win the work, you renegotiate with the vendor. Because it's easy for someone to say, it's going to cost me $10,000 a day to train for you, and this is what my price is. Opposed to, hey, Tanya, I just want some work. If you're available, I'm going to pay you $2,000 a day. It's 3 days of work. I will also reimburse your travel. Are you available? And she may say, yeah, normally I would charge $10,000, but in this situation, I'll go with your rate. Because it's all about being able to win and get a profit. So maybe your profit's 10%, maybe your profit's 20%. But in order to win, it's about how are they evaluating. So that's one way to look at rates. When you start to get into staffing and employees, there's a whole nother kind of science behind it. But at the end of the day, it's your expenses versus what you're going to pay out and what you want to take as your profit. It's easy as that. That's the bottom line. Whenever looking for a mentor, it's really important that a mentor has a mentor. I have tons of mentors. I've spent so much money in the past year on my mentors. It's more money than I paid for my PhD. So just know that too. I have books, I have trainings, I have masterminds. I'm in all kinds of groups. I'm in a YouTube. I have Myron Golden. That's why he's the co-author of the book. I do stuff with Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone. I have a fitness mentor, like fitness coach. I'm all about having people around me that knows that we're at the top. We continue to rise because we got to go to the stratosphere. The top is not enough. We got to keep going. And that's what I know will continue happening for you too. Every proposal is different. At the end of the day, your proposal consists of information about you, some type of price, and information that they're requested. I was looking at a proposal I submitted 5 years ago. One of the volumes was 100 pages. There was something else I recently submitted and it was 1 page. Every single proposal is different. It is not based on the dollar amount. It is not based on that. It's based on so many other factors, but they all vary. Is over-delivering. Because remember, we're starting at the top. And what's key to starting at the top? You're over-delivering, period. That's how you get more work. You over-deliver, get more work. Over-deliver, get more work. That's as simple as that. We have a contract with an Air Force base where we staff an exercise physiologist. There are several federal government contracts out there where they're looking for exercise physiologists, fitness coach, training coach. And the Antonio video, if you go on my main YouTube, you can see it where I interview Antonio. His first 2 contracts were for flag football and soccer referees. So that's one path for you. So you're going to want to go on Sam.gov. You're going to go on there and you're going to look for the NAICS codes around sports or things of that nature to see what they have. The other area potentially for you is to flip equipment. A lot of agencies buy equipment. I've seen them buy TRX and rowing machines and treadmills and all of that kind of stuff. There's another one is Unison Marketplace. You're going to go on here and you're going to go to register if you've never been here before. So a NAICS code is the government's way. They use this existing North America classification, industry service codes, all this kind of stuff. So the website that I just provided to you, just type in like fitness, exercise, and then the NAICS code will come up. And then you're going to go into sam.gov and start searching with the NAICS codes, and also keep note of what NAICS code is the government using to procure what you're looking to sell, okay? And as you already know, everything is possible. Kizzy Shopping Network. Thank you so much. We're starting at the top because that's where we are.